Hello everyone, welcome back. In this episode, I guess a part of my Have Gun Will Travel series, I got another gun at Academy. Let's see what it is. Oh boy, let's see what they got. Some of you can recognize the case. You probably already know what it is. Let me see here. I'll give you a fire purchase packet. Tells you all about safety and all that. So there it is. Glock. Looks like it says lock, but it's a Glock. So I did get a Glock finally. Not because I had any desire to. I purchased a Glock just so I can compare my other firearm to a Glock. And here's what came with it. A lock, something like one of these, again, child locks, which it's useless. One of these to clean out the barrel, I guess. So sure, I guess it's good for something. And then the actual firearm itself, the Glock, what did I get, the Glock 19, 17? No, I got the Glock 17 is what I got. So this is a Glock 17. I'm going to compare it to the SD9 and give it a little buddy as well. Okay. So it also comes with a speed loader, which I guess this is kind of helpful. It is helpful. Put your magazines in here, or put your rounds in here as you push it down to make it a little bit easier to load. Fantastic. You get a second magazine, 17. So there you go. And it comes with one, so you get two. Straight out of the box, I don't anticipate any problems. One thing I did look at is, if you see that, it almost looks curved. Let me move this out of the way so you see. It almost looked curved, and it is curved, which I thought it was weird. But the salesman looked at the other one, the Glock 19, and then the Glock 28, and the other Glock sizes, and the extractor pin, or that little pin right there, that basically bounces the shell out, is different on all of them. Actually, some are S-curve, some are this one's bent a little, and the other ones were straight. So I told the salesman to look at the one on display. Is that little pin that helps eject the shell, is that curved on the display? And he's like, yeah, it is. So that's what I just noticed. So I'm not going to break it down too much. I'm just going to look at it and just do a comparison, physical, weight wise, or how it feels. It has a little grip here. It feels like polymer. There's a trigger. I haven't messed with the trigger, so here's my first chance at the trigger here. The way I like to particularly hold a firearm at two hands, preferably, you stabilize it more. On this one, I double grip it, and also put my finger on the other side of this to give myself a nice even grip. Usually my right hand does all of the work, but nice to have that little left hand just to give that extra, help. Not too much of a travel distance at all. Okay. Well, I'm already familiar with the SD9. I should be very familiar with the Glock by now, just by looking at the SD9. Other than the name, I can't really tell much of a difference between my SD9 and this. The sight, however, is a little different, and this is just plastic, looks like, and maybe plastic up front. It's fixed. This you may be able to adjust, but it's got this little white line here, and of course on the camera this dot looks a little really small, but if you aim the way I've learned to aim, is both eyes open, and when you have both eyes opened, that front sight really does fill up that little square gap in the middle right there. You can see that white dot right in between here, filling up that whole gap. Although it looks like a lot, but if you're seeing it through both eyes, this small little thing fills this whole thing up. It really does. It fills it up. Anyways, extractors right here with a little pin on it. Okay, a little different. So let's take out my SD9 and let's compare it. Don't have any bullets in here yet, but I'm sure we'll fix that. We'll fix that. Let's put this back here for whatever. Let's put that aside. Alright, let's put that aside right here, and let's pull out the SD9. My SD9 is right here, by the way. And that one's, I know it's loaded. Right here. So, I think this holster probably should work with the Glock 17 here. I'm going to do, I'm going to see how this comparison with the Glock, how it fits into my whole scheme of what I got going on. I don't chamber this one generally, so there you go. I wonder if this Glock is going to fit in here really well. Comes out a little bit more. I think it's a little bit longer. It sure is. Sure is longer. I just put it right up against, but not by much. I can tell because when I put it in the holster, this does stick out. But other than that, I mean, the handle, there's a little bit more to the Glock on the back end here, or no, about the same, a little bit more, just a little bit more. So, but other than that, not very similar, right? Very similar. Let me see weight-wise. Oh, let's take out the clip here. Obviously, this is going to be a little heavier if it's loaded. It has one extra round than this, but I have to admit, I think the Glock is a little bit lighter. Oh, maybe it's my right hand. I think everything on the right hand feels about lighter. So the extractor is different. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty much very similar, very close. The handle on this is a little bigger because I guess you could put one more round in this one. But for the most part, man, I've heard this is compared to a Glock, and it sure is. I mean, just look at it. Big difference in price. At most, this is $350. I bought this for, what is it, retailed at $4.99 with tax. It's probably $5.50. So there's a $200 difference. If I bought 2 of these, I can get a third one. Probably third one. If I buy 2 of these, well, I can't get a third gun for the same price, because I could buy 3 of these for the same price of 2 of these. Almost the same price anyway. So anyways, yeah. So this is a little bit longer, but guess what? It will still work in this holster. I'm pretty sure of it. Oh yeah, just yeah, for the most part. So the other thing I want to do is the other thing I wanted to do was pair it up with a buddy. So I guess from now on, this Glock, not this Glock, this Walther P22 here, which it's probably not, I don't think it is loaded. No, it's not. Okay. Since it's black, I know it's not a Glock, I know it's a 22, but your main firearm should always come with a little buddy. So my perfect pair, the 9 and the 22, the Walther P22 and the Glock 17. All right, and then of course, as you know, I got my other Walther P22. This is one I'm actually putting on my side. The two-tone Walther P22. I haven't shot this yet, man. I am just on a binge. Of course, I didn't load this one either. Okay, nope, not loaded. No. So there you go with the two-tone, Walther P22 right here. With, it's a little bit different, but almost similar. You can see it's a little on the camera, it's a little different, but man, this makes a nice little perfect little buddy for this gun. I mean, that's just the way I want to collect it. And so another thing about, once you start owning firearms, man, you could just have fun deciding however you want to collect your firearms and have fun with it. So there you go. Oh man, that's really fun as far as collecting. So here's my Glock. Is it worth the money? I don't know. I have one now, so I can tell by the pull. This is harder to pull. I feel like the spring is stronger with this than this. So anyways, that concludes this episode between the comparison. Let me put all my other stuff away here. Oh man, I'm still really getting into collecting guns. I got more guns than I really need. This one, of course, goes in here. Yeah, this one's always going to be near me, but oh, the other reason, the other reason why I took this out was I wanted to see if this is going to fit in my fanny pack. It's a little bit taller. It's a little bit taller, but it will work. It will work. It's a little bit taller. Let's see how it works. This is without the towel. Of course, I always like to put in the towel. I want to see if a full size is, I think 17 is considered a full size. Yeah, it will fit, but it's a little slightly too big. Slightly too big. This is the back piece right here is just a little too big. It protrudes out. But maybe I won't forego the towel. It does protrude out right here. It protrudes out, giving it a little weird shape to it. So this is a gun I probably can't put into my fanny pack. Not comfortably. It's just a little too big. So for one more round and a little bigger grip on the bottom here, for me, not quite worth the extra money. It's probably a little bit longer barrel, but again, for me, not quite worth. Not quite worth the extra money for that. Now let's take this. I'm just going to put this in here, and because it's a little flusher on the bottom, as you can see, compared to this, it's actually flush on the bottom. With the towel put in here, I could actually fit this right in relatively a lot easier. And it actually looks normal. There's not a bulge coming out here when I zip it up. It actually looks like a regular fanny pack. Looks like a regular fanny pack. No bulging coming out, a little weirdness, doesn't torque it and everything. So if I had my choice now that I know, I'd prefer the SD9. Very similar to the Glock, costs way less. I could buy two of these. I could buy one of these every year, and well, I would go broke slower than if I bought this every year. I would go broke faster. So it fits my hand pretty okay. Not too big, not too long, not too small. This works really well for me for right now, just because of my fanny pack situation. So the Glock being just a little too big. Maybe if I did a 19 instead of a 17, but I don't know. I just wanted to get one, compare one, see what it's like. I'm gonna fire it and see what that's like, and we'll see how it goes, you know. So, but so far, this feels a lot better, in my opinion. I think I'm gonna like this a lot. And then, of course, my buddy, companion with it, Walther P22. I know a perfect pair by definition is they should have the same ammo and usability, but I'll just create my own perfect pair. It's 22 and the 9, Smith & Wesson SD9, Walther P22 in the two-tone. I like it. This is where you get to gun collecting. This is where it becomes fun, but you all know what this is for, right? This is to save your life. So there's that. Anyways, that concludes this episode. I just wanted to do a video on this. I'm going to go ahead and do another episode where I'm going to fire the two and shoot the Glock and see how that, see if it's really worth the extra $200. Do I shoot any better? Does it feel any better? Let's see. You know, the trigger's different, obviously. I didn't even bother comparing the trigger on that. Let's do that right now. First, there's no rounds in here. Let's push this a little bit more in, but so this trigger, a little different. You know, the lever here is different, obviously. Doesn't seem that much of a difference. Oh, actually it is. Doesn't seem like much of a you have to go a little bit further. You do. There is a difference. Is it much of a difference? $200 difference? No. That's my answer to that. Anyways, let me cut out. And well, let me just conclude this episode on the Glock here. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.